What is going on, peeps? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you are curious, I'm feeling a lot better today. Thank you for being so nice to my mom on Friday. We definitely had to get our yearly cookie video in somehow and then get decked out in Christmas attire. And Tasty has posted a plethora of cookie videos throughout this past month. So I'm gonna go through and pick out a couple that I think would make up the perfect cookie tray for Santa himself. Now, I definitely want a super soft and chocolatey one, so I'm gonna go with the peppermint brownie cookies. These look amazing. I also want something pretty classic, which a chocolate chip cookie would do, but I'm gonna take it up a little bit and shove an Oreo inside of them because they look delicious as well. And then for the third one, I wanted something very different, maybe even something fruity. Unfortunately, Tasty hasn't posted anything like that this month, but I did find these Jell-O cookies, which look pretty cool, but I don't think they're gonna taste very good. Either way, we got a lot of work to do, so let's get right into it. So guys, I have a whole day of cookie making ahead of me. I'm not going to show you the individual ingredients for each recipe, just know it's a lot of flour and sugar and salt and butter. And speaking of butter, I just realized now that in our 2 fridges in the house, we have not 2 or 4 boxes. The ShopRite butter went on sale, my mom had to get some of those. We have 17 pounds of butter in the house right now. This was completely unintentional, I just happened to see them all in the freezer, and then I wonder why I have chest pains all the time. But first up, we're gonna try to knock out these brownie cookies, which I think are gonna take the longest. Shout out to Jessie, who this recipe came from. I just had to melt down all my chocolate in a double boiler. I had to mix my dry ingredients in a separate bowl. And what do you know, we are breaking out the stand mixer today. This thing has not seen a lot of use since my mom got it for me last Christmas. It's just such a pain because I don't have counter space for it. But for this recipe, it should be pretty darn helpful. And now that I'm halfway through this, I just realized last year I made myself a delicious peppermint martini. I need something. Hold on, 1 second. Apparently this beer has like pine tree flavoring in it. It says notes of pine. It's good. Anyways, once I had my very labor-intensive cookie dough ready, I plopped out some spoonfuls on some parchment paper. Apparently a key to this is cooking them as soon as this cookie dough is done, or else they lose some of that shiny and crackle effect on top. And then halfway through the baking process, you want to sprinkle some candy canes on the top, bake it for another 4 or 5 minutes, and they are apparently done. So our platter begins with these, and we can move on to number 2. Up next, we are doing the classic chocolate chip cookies with an Oreo stuffed in the middle. Tasty has like re-uploaded this recipe, I want to say 8 or 9 times now, but it looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm just using this super basic recipe I found on the back of the chocolate chip bag. I considered doing Tasty's like best chocolate chip cookies, but if I remember correctly, there was a lot of work and they weren't that great. Plus they have chocolate chunks in them, and I don't think that'll work for this. Now, this first batch came out absolutely massive. I think I just put too much cookie dough around the Oreos. So for the second batch, I used as little dough as possible to wrap around the Oreos, and they came out much more manageable. I also kind of squished down the top so the Oreo wouldn't be as pronounced. But they look pretty good, so I plated them up and on to cookie number 3. Which is kind of the wild card here. I've never baked a cookie or anything with Jell-O in it. Y'all already know how I feel about Jell-O, so this should be pretty interesting. Like I always say, Jell-O just reminds me of the Paul brothers. You know, it presents itself as good and wholesome, and then you realize what's made it, and you just get disgusted. Also, when reading through this recipe page a little bit more, I realized they use food coloring to enhance the colors, and I'm a little annoyed. I don't know why I thought just straight Jell-O would achieve this color, but I used some gel icing color for all 4 of my colors. They did come out looking pretty good. I ended up getting 6 cookies from each color, and I halved the original recipe, so I would have gotten a dozen from each one. Now they definitely didn't come out as smooth around the edges as I would have liked, or as thin, but the colors still look pretty good. So I plated them up as well, and let's give all three a taste. I don't know what's going on with this bit of hair. It didn't fit under the Santa hat, so we're just gonna leave it. Now, if I was Santa Claus, I would be quite content if I was left this platter of cookies. Look at that, what a variety. Also, for these being the most labor intensive and intimidating, I would say they came out looking pretty close to the original video. Oh man. That's like the most delicious, fudgiest brownie with peppermint flavoring. Ooh. I don't mind like crispier cookies at all, but man, is this so good and soft. I could easily eat a dozen of these. It's so good, without a doubt, 10 out of 10. Now, if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't guess that there was an Oreo hidden in there. It's pretty flat across the top. Oh man. Look at that. That is so good. Super easy, 100 times better than normal chocolate chip cookies. If you try to make them, just use as little dough as possible to coat around the Oreo. Because that's what I did, and it still came out pretty big. But that's really good. 9.5 out of 10. Moving right along. Now these bad boys are kind of like the wild card. I've never had Jell-O baked goods. And I don't really love Jell-O to begin with, because I just think of how it's made the whole time I'm eating it. Oh. Oh my god. Somebody made the joke that they just look like Play-Doh cookies. They kind of taste like Play-Doh too. Maybe it's just the lime though. Those lime cookies, I don't know. I feel like the cherry would probably be most likely to be good. Nope. Those are nasty. Would not recommend this mess. I don't know how people actually like that. That is so gross. Make these two though. These are good. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Christmas Eve. I hope all of you have a happy and healthy holiday and New Year's with your friends, your family, whoever you got. Just give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Appreciate those in your life. Follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you don't already. Other than that, have an awesome beginning of your week and an awesome holiday season. I will see you right back here next time. Peace!